2025 SEC Baseball Tournament Game 12 postgame press conference, joined by the LSU Tigers, represented by head coach Jay Johnson, along with pitcher Cade Anderson and designated hitter Ethan Fry. In a moment, coach will give an opening statement, and then we'll take questions directed to the players only, please. Please wait for the microphone and identify yourself when asking a question. Coach, if you give us an opening statement.
Yeah, great college baseball game. Congrats to Texas A&M. They've made a good run here this week. They have a very talented team. And it took our best to win tonight, clearly. And our best is these two guys right here. Cade Anderson, best pitcher in the country. I'll give him a tied for first with Anthony Ianson. And then Ethan Fry, this spectacular hitter. And, you know, this is what our program is all about, is these two guys. They're great players, but even better human beings. And the only way to get through this thing is talent and character, and I'm lucky to have these two on my team. I guess we have some rain coming in tomorrow night, so the schedule is condensed. We're playing a team that we have not played, so I got a long night ahead of me tonight.
Questions for the players, please raise your hand. Let's start in the front row on the right.
Koki Riley with the Advocate. Cade, I think it was 8 strikeouts in your first 9 batters. What was really rolling for you early on in the game?
Yeah, just believing in Coach Yeski and having full faith in our coaches to continue to go out there and make pitches, and when you succeed, that's what happens.
Let's go in the back left.
Guys, this is for both y'all, Mitch Davis and MitchDavisShow.com. How much do y'all feed off of that energy of what sounds like Alex Box out there? I mean, 12,000, 13,000 plus LSU fans out there.
Alex Box is a huge home field advantage. So when you play an environment like Alex Box and then you come here, it feels the same. You know, there's no difference. So, I mean, it feels amazing, and our fans get into it, and we love it.
Right in the center of the room.
Ethan, you hit 2 huge runs in the first 3 innings, and then bats kind of go cold. What's the mindset that you and the other teammates that you have to keep going on?
Just say our aggressiveness. Sometimes it's easy to jump out there in the first inning. I mean, we ain't played in a week, so we just got to keep in our mind, we got to stay aggressive and be willing to compete all 9 instead of just the first 3 or 4.
On the right side, third row.
Chessie Boucher with NBC 33. Cade, we haven't seen Anthony come out of the pen all season long to give him the ball. What did it mean to you, and what did you see from him?
Yeah, just full trust in him, and when he's on the mound, it's really hard to lose, and it's what he does every week, and no one's shocked by that, and it's obviously nice for him to come in after me.
I'm standing on the right.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. For Cade, just what does an outing like that do for Anthony? That pressure moment, to experience that here in front of all this.
Yeah, I think he's done that all year, but he's a really clutch pitcher, and when you have to make the good pitches, he makes them, and that's a really good attribute in a pitcher, and what helps me continue to grow as a pitcher as well, learning from him.
And right next to him on the right.
John Eads, WFB. Cade, you talked this week about being intentful with your pitches. How do you feel like you worked that in tonight?
Yeah, just same as every week, and continuing to throw every pitch with intent and full faith in Coach Yeski and what he calls, and I think that's the reason for the success.
Second row on the left.
Cade, Matt Talmy from World Baseball Network. What's it like to have a catcher like Hernandez be a commander to your pitching staff, and let alone what you utilized with your pitches tonight and just flaming 12 guys?
Yeah, it's when I throw a pitch in the dirt, I know he's going to block it, and it's such a good feeling. And Coach Johnson did a great job recruiting him. I mean, a guy from Puerto Rico that had a difficult time at kind of adjusting to what it was like in the United States. Has really done a good job, and I trust him with my life back there.
First row.
Ethan, I think your home run was on a 0-2 count. So, what's your approach heading into that pitch, really, when you're trying to battle, but you get something you can drive?
I mean, when it comes to 0-2, I just kind of try to put a barrel in something. If I hit hard, I don't, drive the pitch count's kind of our main thing. Once we get 2 strikes, you have to kind of raise the pitch count, take care of the starting pitcher, whoever's in the bullpen. But, I mean, anytime I get a free pitch like that, I'm pretty thankful for it. So,
All right, 2 more for the players, both on the right.
Ethan, you've been through a lot in your time at Baton Rouge, but what does it mean tonight to essentially have the game-winning 2-run home run?
I mean, I'm from Louisiana, so, this means a little different to me, as I'm sure it does Cade. Long, hard time in college, but, we have such a great coaching staff and training staff that, I couldn't do nothing but trust every single one of them, and it makes it really easy when we have as good as coaches as we do. So to have their faith in it every time I get in the box, every game, it helps a lot.
And right behind her on the right.
Ethan, A&M's left-handed pitching made it tough on y'all when you played earlier this month. How important was it for the right-handed hitters like yourself to produce tonight?
I mean, I wouldn't even say right-handed producers. We had Derek Curry ran a couple great at-bats in there. We had a lot of good barrels that just happened to go right to somebody. So, I mean, Coach says, you're never facing the opponent, you're facing the ball, but it felt kind of good beating them tonight, kind of getting our payback on them. But, and again, it's just baseball, so stuff like that can happen every now and then.
All right, guys. Congratulations on the game tonight. Do you want to answer that question, or are you done? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, if you have a question for Coach, please raise your hand. Let these guys get out. We'll start in the front and work our way back.
Coach, was the plan always to pitch Anthony in relief today, and could you pitch again this weekend?
Yeah, it was the plan. I decided last Saturday that this is what we were going to do if the game dictated that. There's a number of reasons for that. He will not be available for the rest of the weekend.
On the left.
Hunter Lauder, ESPN Gainesville. Coach, you guys hadn't played in just about a week, and then you're taking on a team that has been playing here already. What was it like to come out and just set the tone early from your offense?
Yeah, I thought it was a great first inning. My man comes out here and punches out the side in the first inning. You can't get off to a better start than that. And then Derek, great at bat. I think it was like 7 or 8 pitches and 2-strike double, and then Jared does a good job of managing the zone, drawing the walk. Danny gets the bunt down. Ethan doesn't try to do too much, drives it to the outfield, which would have been a sac fly, but it was good that it fell down there. And then Luis putting the ball in play to the middle of the field, which we call a gray area. And so I thought that was a great start. And then, we got the leadoff guy on again and hit into a double play in the second inning. But then Danny, hit a ball hard and low. I think that was with 2 strikes too. And then they were very worried about the running game there. And guy got distracted a little bit, left the pitch up, and Ethan drove it, which he can do. So I thought that was great. And then they clearly did a good job after that on the mound. Fresh Corn was really, really good tonight. And you could see his improvement, as a pitcher. But when you got those 2 throwing, that's 4 is probably going to be enough.
Start on the second row on the right.
Jacob Rudner, Baseball America. The stuff is apparent with Cade, but what do you see in the competitor? What's he like to work with, and just how has he kind of impressed you that way this year?
Yeah, he's amazing. And we knew we had something special right when I was hired at LSU. A good friend of mine, Eric Borba, his son, Casey, he plays at Texas, and they'd played together a lot. He's like, hey, man, you need to get on the phone with this guy, like, right now. And I did, and from the first conversation, you could tell this guy was special. And then I watched him pitch, and I was like, man, we're going to have a hard time getting this guy through the draft. And then hit Tommy John at the end of his junior year. And, the way he handled that to get himself back and then had a good freshman season last year, kind of flew under the radar a little bit and kind of protected him coming back from the injury. But then he crushed it in the offseason. I mean, the weight room piece, he's much more physical, than he was at this time last year. He's added his pitch repertoire, and he throws them all for strikes all the time. I mean, it's velocity, it's movement, it's location, it's any pitch and any count. And he's a winner. I mean, both these dudes right here, I meant what I said, and hopefully it caught somebody's attention. Like, this dude and this dude is who I want LSU baseball to be about and to be known for. And Cade certainly got that great character.
Second row in the middle.
Coach, you kind of talked about it earlier, your mentality and the familiarity with A&M going into, today versus going into Ole Miss tomorrow when you've never seen them before. So, kind of what is that? How are you going to prepare for that? And what was that post-game message and the message you're going to send to your players going into it tomorrow?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get Dunkin' Donuts and get a little bit of caffeine and sugar to keep going. I came to the game on Wednesday night just knowing that it was a possibility to play them and, wanted to eyeball it. Certainly familiarity with their team, from playing them forever. And they're better this year. They're a really good team this year, and that's a great win that they got today on one of the best teams in the country. So we'll get ready for that. The players need to go to sleep and get rested. It's a quick turnaround with the weather changing the game time. So it's just what you do this time of year, and you love doing it. And the messaging after the game was twofold. Number one is it's a great exercise for our team I want them to enjoy and celebrate every win because they're really hard to get, but that has to expire quicker when you're in postseason play because you have to be prepared for tomorrow. So that was the first thing, and I just sent them a little challenge. Like, the 4 teams that are left are 4 of the last 5 national champions. So let's get after it and see if we can be the champion of the champions.
Second row on the right.
Mark Etheridge, D1 Baseball. Jay, Laviolette had surgery last night and played today. Have you ever seen something like that?
No, and who knows what's going to happen with the bracket and where they're at. But if that's the last time I have to play against Jace, I'm going to be very happy about that. And he's a great player, and much like these guys, he's a great human being. So and that's special. Like, to get on the field tonight after that, that's special, and massive hat tip and massive respect to him.
Third row on the right.
I asked Ethan this, but what he's been through at LSU to battle back and been so clutch this season, what has he meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, that is a real dude. He's a great player. He's an even better person. The only reason he didn't play as a freshman because he's on one of the best teams in college baseball history. That's it. That's the only reason he didn't play as a freshman. And then last year it was getting close to go, and then he literally, the moment I decided to do that, he slid back into first and hurt his shoulder bad enough to have surgery on it, and then it took some time to get back from that. There was a feeling very early in the year, to get to our best team, it would obviously include him. It kind of reminds me of 23 a little bit. There were some guys like Beloso and Joe Bear that weren't in the lineup every day, but I had a feeling we would get to that, and we did, and obviously we know how that turned out. He was kind of that guy this year, but never has complained, never has whined, never has said poor me. He's just showed up with the right attitude, the great work, and he's obviously very talented, and we're all seeing the results of that right now.
On the left, third row.
Lauren McGill, ESPN Gainesville. Coach, you said that you watched Ole Miss a little bit on Wednesday, but going into this game and Ethan not hitting or anyone getting more runs after Ethan's home run, what are some adjustments, if any, that you'd like to see from this offense going into the game, especially after watching Ole Miss?
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to pitch tomorrow. I haven't decided who we're going to pitch tomorrow, so I'll save you all a question with that. I think it comes down to just executing your plan this time of year. I had Alex Bregman talk to the team, and on the outside, and I'm very thankful for all of you, that promote college baseball, and you need narratives and storylines. I mean, winning at this time of year comes down to executing your plan, and I think at times we've done that about as good as anybody. I mean, this team has played at times about as good as any team I've ever had. When you go through the league like this, some of these pitchers make it tough. Miles Patton's one of those guys that make it tough, and Freshcorn, he didn't even pitch against us in that series. I mean, he getting drafted. I don't know if he's draft eligible or not, but he getting drafted after that tonight. So I think we'll just kind of get him reset. And, when you have a good team, one player doesn't always have to be perfect. So I think that takes some pressure off, and just need to get them a little more, locked in on taking the at-bats that they're capable of. And I thought we were unbelievable through three innings of that, and we can get back to that tomorrow.
On the right, fourth row.
Coach, at the beginning of the season when we talked about Anthony, it was at the beginning of his start he might struggle a little bit, but he'll get better as he goes. Tonight, he couldn't have that, though, right? It was a one-run game. He had to be on point as soon as he got in. So how does this demonstrate his improvement?
Yeah, we're way past that. And it was kind of a thing. I made a joke with him about 5 weeks ago that I was going to go make a mound visit in the bullpen when he was warming up for the game, to kind of get him over that hump. But that dude, I'm telling you, he's the best at a few things. Number one, he is the best at getting better as the game goes along, and he is the best pitcher in the country at wiggling his way out of trouble. The odds of getting out of a runner on third no-out situation without a run scoring are very low. And it takes a competitor, a special dude like that to do it, and he's the man.
All right, last one on the right, standing.
Stay with Anthony. Why the intentionality to get him time tonight?
Yeah, I figured somebody was going to ask me that. So just looking at what we're trying to do as a team, we have asked a lot out of those two guys, and they are the reason that we are sitting here. They're the reason we're not getting on an airplane to go play from this point forward. So I felt like this was a good week to kind of minimize what we asked of them and their load to get them fresher and better for next week. That was the first thing. The second thing was we now have the option to do whatever we want next Friday. And, when you don't know who your opponent is, you want to have the option to choose. And I have that option because I have two pitchers as good as that. Number three, I wanted to play more than one game here. And I think the only way you get better as a team is to play. And all that's left is teams that are capable of going to Omaha and winning the national championship. So what an opportunity for us to get better this week. The next thing is we're going to need more than those two guys. So now this is going to thrust a few guys into pitching well against teams that are capable of winning the national championship, which will thus make us better as we move forward.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. We'll see you again tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.